Today we want to talk about how to save big on your taxes.
Do not cheap out on your CPA.
You're not a tax professional. You didn't go to school for that. You don't have certifications for that. Let's leave the tax stuff to the tax professionals.
Get a great CPA, but don't think your CPA is going to give you business strategy on how to grow profits. They work in the rearview mirror.
Pay it to your children. You can pay close to $15,000 a year in tax-free income to each child. You're never done learning.
Welcome to the Seven Figure Salon podcast with Rachel and Drew. I'm Drew.
I'm Rachel.
Welcome to the show. Quick update. We just got back from Florida. We got to hang out and watch Tim Tebow speak.
He's such a great guy.
Chris Carter, Hall of Fame.
He's such a funny guy.
Hilarious.
Hilarious.
Eddie Wilson, Andrew Cordell.
Yeah.
We were just recently up close and personal with David Goggins, Mark Cuban. Man, we've been seeing some big players speak.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see.
Tim's story.
Yeah, Tim's story is amazing. It's just amazing to be in the same room with those people and understanding that if you're driven and you're building a business, that people who are at the top right now, they've been through everything you're going through. So it was reassuring to be.
We want to be a small fish in a big pond. So that's what we like to do. We have mentors. We go to events. We absorb information, content, education because it just helps us be better. And you're never done learning.
And we bring it right up in here.
Yep.
So.
Super important to stay motivated yourself, especially if you're a business owner. You're always like the one having to lead everybody else. Like it's good to be led sometimes. So that's exactly why we travel. Anytime we're traveling, sorry, we don't really do personal. We'll do 2 personal vacations a year with the kids, but everything else is education, excited.
Work growth related.
Yep.
Meeting, networking. I realized I didn't know how to network till recently.
I think you're good at it.
I'm really good at it now. But
I suck.
You get in there.
I don't suck. I'm more of introverted, believe it or not. And, Drew is more, I'm 10 points underneath the middle ground of extroverted and introverted. So I am extroverted in settings that I'm comfortable in, or if I'm talking about something that I'm enjoying, that I like. If I'm in the freaking hallway at my daughter's dance studio and all the moms are chitty chatting about dumb shit, I'm I'd rather work on my phone. I'd rather work on my laptop. I don't really want to talk about. I don't even know. Not interested.
Unless you have a couple tequilas, you're more extroverted.
Very rare.
Just a little bit though, not much.
Rare. No, I'm saying I very, very rarely drink. Okay. Today we want to talk about something that is definitely going to be on the horizon for all of you guys, especially when this episode hits, is how to save big on your taxes. So if you are a business owner, which I hope you are if you're listening to this podcast, you are going to be likely, you are all up in tax season right now. We're all up in tax season right now. And, it's important that you guys have some strategies on how to actually save money on your taxes because, I hate when people do a DIY on their taxes. When they're like, oh, let me just, turbo tax it. Don't do that. Don't you turbo tax it. You hire a professional who understands your business, who has been tracking all your expenses and doing all your bookkeeping all year long. And it's not going to be next. They actually know what your business is about. And it's super important. And I know people will try and turbo tax it or DIY it. Yeah, sure. You could do, what are you doing?
Continue.
You could do that, but really the problem with doing that is you're going to cost yourself way more money in the long run had you just hired a professional in the first place. And let's all just agree and acknowledge the fact that you are not, if you're a creative hairstylist who happened to own a salon, who's learning how to be a business owner and learning how to step into CEO, you're not a tax professional. You didn't go to school for that. You don't have certifications for that. So let's leave the tax stuff to the tax professionals. However, there are some tax strategies that we want you to be aware of today because especially depending on who you have as your CPA or who's doing your bookkeeping, it's very likely that they may not even think about these types of strategies whenever it comes time for taxes for you. So It's important when you're doing your taxes to think about, number one, what's the goal of the year, right? Or over the next 2 years, what are we hoping to do? If you're hoping to expand and you're hoping to build out a second location or get funding or something, probably not a good idea to run your business down into the negative or the zero, okay? Play the zero game. Probably not a good idea. If you are not planning on expanding, you're not planning on getting another location, you are wanting to take max deductions, then by all means, deduct the heck out of everything. But if you're wanting to make some big moves and expand, definitely play your cards right, because they're going to look back several years.
Can you go deeper on the benefits to playing it to zero, and can you talk a little bit more about that, and then a little bit more about the benefits to showing as much profit as possible?
Yeah. So again, it just kind of depends on like what the business plan is for the next few years. And if you haven't thought about it and you've likely just been running it down to zero, which we did for the first couple years in business, we're really good at that game. But the problem is you try to expand and you go to the bank and you're like, I got money. Like, I got money. You don't understand. I got money. Well, by the looks of your tax return, sir, you don't got money,
Got
you
no
know?
money.
And you could even be like, oh, I got a nice car outside. I got a nice house. I have a great business. I make all this money. It's like, yeah, but you deducted everything and you actually show a loss of $80,000 for last year. So you're not going to get approved for whatever that is that you're trying to get approved for. Now, there are ways around this. You could do a stated income loan, which is going to have a pretty hefty rate, okay? Mm-hmm. But most times, the best thing to do is let's have a great CPA who's a professional managing all your bookkeeping, managing all your tax filings throughout the year. And then that way, when it comes time for tax time, there's actually a strategy and a game plan behind it.
Do not cheap out on your CPA.
Don't be box coloring your finances.
No, get a great CPA, and don't get a great CPA, but don't think your CPA is going to give you business strategy on how to grow profits.
Nope.
They don't do that. They work in the rearview mirror. They work back here on what you did, and then they will advise you based off of that information, which brings me to my next point. It is crucial that you know how to read a P&L. I was actually just studying yesterday on some stuff going over Whole Foods income statement. It's just to keep that muscle growing. Sherwin-Williams is a great business. Wow. Paint. You never thought of it. But really geek out on that stuff and get good at that. So when you talk to your CPA, you can speak the same language.
Yeah. So a P&L is just an abbreviation for profit and loss. Okay. So you should be getting one of these every single month from your bookkeeper. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you need to find a new bookkeeper. We'll put a recommendation in the show notes below. She works with a lot of our clients. Her name's Rachel K. But it's important that you have somebody that's doing your books who understands the types of transactions that you're doing, how to categorize them correctly, and things like that, that understand that if you have educational expenses, if you're going to a class and you're paying for a flight and you have a room, like all of those things are deductible. And, you're not sitting here trying to deduct your kids' school clothes on your Target receipt. Like, again, you got to know what the end goal is. Are you trying to expand? Are you just trying to kind of stay where you're at? And then, that strategy is going to look very, very different. The game is going to be different. So some of my favorite strategies to save big on taxes, number one is putting your kids on payroll. Okay, now this is very important. You cannot, now we have a variety of ages we have 4 kids, okay? We have a almost 13-year-old, an almost 9-year-old, almost 8-year-old, and then we have a almost 1.5-year-old Hendrix. But, you got to think about when you put your kids on payroll. Now, if your business is not profitable right now, don't be putting your kids on payroll, okay? The point is you want your business to be profitable, and a 20% profit margin is what we aim for with all of our clients. It's what we aim for ourselves. One of our locations is sitting around 24% profit. The other one is kind of creeping around 20, 19, 20, depending on the month. But it's important that you have your kids on payroll if you're trying to minimize your tax exposure, meaning your business shows a lot of profit, you're trying to get the bill down, okay? And you're wanting to keep that money, basically moving it from right hand to left hand, right? Like you're wanting to you don't want to sit here and go like maybe you're going to throw a big Christmas party at the end of the year. Maybe you're going to buy some gifts for your team, your top producers, from them, being hardworking stylists all year long and being top in sales or retail or whatever. But I would prefer for you to put most of whatever tax savings you're going to try to have and pay it to your children. You can pay, I believe this year it's close to $15,000 a year in tax-free income to each child. We have 4 kids. Now, keep in mind, if you have multiple companies like us, you want to make sure that you, let's say maybe one company, you're going to have your kid on that payroll, and they actually have to work. Okay, you can't just sit here and just say, oh yeah, they work. No, they actually have to come in. They actually have to clock in. If you were to be audited, you got to be able to prove yeah, my kid came in, my kid helped do this, my kid restocked the shelves, my kid helped do towels, whatever it might be. But it has to be your child, and it has to be age appropriate work for that age appropriate pay. Okay. So you can still pay them. I mean, it has to be at least minimum wage, right? Just like anybody else in your business. If you're in California, you're in Colorado, you're in these states that have larger hourly rates, cool. You can send, they don't have to work as many hours to hit that marker. But just to give you a little bit of context, and I actually think it's $14,600 per year per kid divided by 12 months. That's going to put you at $1,216 a month. So figure out if you're going to max it out and you're going to hit the 14,600-ish mark. Now, here's the kicker. Here's the thing you have to be very, very, very particular about. You cannot go above the threshold. If you, let's say, give your kid $16,000, now your child has to claim all of that money on their income tax, okay? Now they're on the IRS radar. If it's under $14,600, and I'll double check that here. I know last year that's what it was. Goes up a little bit every year. You can go ahead and you can not claim that on income tax for your child, but you are going to pay employer taxes on it, and it is going to be a business write-off because their wage is being paid. So if you've got 4 kids like us, that's, let's say, 14,600 times 4. We have quite a bit of money that we can write off every single year as a business expense to minimize how much taxes we're paying for our business. And then also on the other side, our 4 kids, as long as we stay under that threshold, there's not going to be any income tax there. What you do with that money from there is really, really important.
That's where it gets fun.
This gets really freaking fun. What you get from there, and I get very excited about tax-free stuff. So let's say, Kenzie and Evan, for example, they both have Roth IRAs. Ollie and Hendrix do not. They have CISAs, which are covered out education savings accounts. So Kenzie and Evan, because they do have earned income, the only way that you can have a Roth IRA is by having earned income, which they do from the salons. So from that point, that money, we can decide based on, what our sales are. We may want to max it out and do the 14,600. We may want to do 10,500. We may want to do 5,000. We may not do it at all. It just kind of depends. You don't want to over leverage the business, and not show profit if you have something else on the other side that you're trying to pursue. So from there, that earned income comes into their own checking accounts. Okay. So you've got, might be cool to do a little graphic on the video for them, but you've got $14,600 coming out of the business, being paid to the child as income. It is not income tax because it is under the threshold of what they have to make in order to claim it as income. And you can get away with this by them being underage because of the fact they're your child. Now, again, it has to be age appropriate work, and it has to be paid at a fair wage, right, for what that type of work is. From there, that money, you can then go max out their Roth IRA. Right? You can also contribute into an education savings account on their behalf because you are then the custodian moving their money. And then everything else that's left over, which in this case would probably be around $5,000 or $6,000. What we'll do is we'll just say, okay, well, this is how we're going to pay for dance. This is how we're going to pay for football. This is how we're going to pay for their meals at school. This is how we're going to pay for their school clothing, And then you have a little smaller account each year that you're then just paying for their stuff. And that's how you can keep things really nice and clean. You've got to make sure it goes into your kid's checking account. You can open a free checking account for your kids.
You can't transfer it back into your stuff. It's got to be in their stuff.
Yeah. Well, no, their earned income needs to go into their account. You, as their parent, can can decide to transfer it around or reimburse yourself or whatever.
Yeah, I was talking about the movement.
But
to and
yeah,
fro.
the Roth IRA, if you're gonna do this at all, make sure that you're putting that earned income into a Roth IRA. And then that way they can, number one, have a Roth IRA because they have earned income. If they don't have earned income, they can't have a Roth IRA. Or you set one up
Like
and
you
you're
can't
doing it
fake
wrong.
it.
You can't fake it because if you're gonna and you want to claim all of this on your taxes, every time you do your tax filings, you're gonna have all your forms, and your CPA is gonna know, hey, yeah, we got a Roth IRA for Rachel and Drew, we got a Roth IRA for Kenzie and Evan, we got a CISA for Ollie, Kenzie, Evan, and Hendrix, and then we've got our HSA, and you have all these other tax-free accounts, But the main thing that you can do to eliminate how much money you have to pay in taxes for your business, if your business is profitable, okay, don't go do this thing if your business is not profitable, okay? You're going to put yourself in a deeper hole. So, profitable business, do the tax strategy. Kids on payroll, it's great. You can do it. If you own multiple businesses, you can do it across multiple businesses. But each child per social security number can only have up to $14,600-ish confirm for this year in income. If there's any more than that, you're going to have to claim the whole thing, and you're going to pay income tax on it, and in addition to the employer taxes you're paying on the other side. Next tax strategy that I want to talk about is the Augusta rule. This is super cool. So if you're anything like us and you like to have Christmas parties for your team, this is a great one for you to take advantage of because you're either going to go have it at a restaurant, you're going to rent a space somewhere, you're probably, maybe you're having it at your house already, who knows? You can rent your own personal residence to your business for up to 14 days a year, all right? And you can go look, and I have screenshots, and I have a whole thing documented of how much we could charge per night or per day for our house if we wanted to rent our house. So we could charge up to $1,500 a day just to rent our house. And that is comparable with what a house of our size and our location with the pool and the number of bedrooms and all the things we have. We can rent our house up to 14 days a month at a minimum of $1,500 a pop. That is also a tax write-off for your business because you're renting a space. Now, yes, you need to have a lease. I will provide it in the show notes for you. I'll give you my free lease. You have to have a lease. You have to document it. You actually have to have a meeting or a Christmas party or a gathering at your house. You can't just sit here and act like you are. You actually have to do it. You have to document it. But it's also income tax free on the other side. So it is tax free for the business. There's no taxes paid. You can deduct it. It's also income tax free on the other side. Super, super cool. And you can get really creative with this, especially because you can, let's say, I don't know, if someday, one day you have other homes, you can do this per residence to a different business. So it really is unlimited, how many times you can do this. It's also unlimited on how many times you can do the tax-free write-offs for the business. You got the income tax-free on the other side. Then you're going to pay employer taxes on the kids on payroll, but you're going to have no income tax on the other side for your kids, which you can then funnel into a Roth, a CISA, etc. So really cool stuff. We'll put some links in the description for you so you can learn more about it. But again, if you're going to do this, make sure you do it right. Make sure you have the proper paperwork, and you also fill your CPA in on what you're doing. And if you talk to your CPA and you say, if you talk about the Augusta rule and your CPA is like, huh, what's that? Get a new CPA. Yes. Not a good fit.
They got to know this stuff. You got to find the right people. And one of the cool things is, again, we're bringing you the goods here. We're open book on what we're doing while we're doing it with our kids covered out in CISAs and Roths. We're going to help them invest in a company. So when we say them, as you can see, it's us, it's you. You're controlling the money, but you're able to leverage it through your kids. And then, once they get older, do with it what you want. But the company was called Cards and Coffee. So in one of these events we were just in, really, really big growing company, really cool. Also, we're learning how to raise funds and do what they're doing. And it's nice to be on the inside of it as a consumer, but we're paying attention to it from the owner perspective as well. Explaining to our kids that they're going to be owners of this growing company, which is really, really cool. Pokemon cards and trading cards and sports memorabilia and coffee and it's just really, really cool. So we'll be able to take them to a location like a grand opening, and they literally own a part of the company. Now we got to explain to them business because they asked me if they can just go in and take as many Pokemon cards as they want. I was like, no, you can't do that. And then they're like, I thought I own it. I'm like, you do? They're like, I don't get it.
You own it, but you can't touch it.
Yeah. So we get to teach them how to do that, but they literally own their names, own a piece of this company. So we're doing stuff like that with them, which is really fun for us and really, really good to teach the kiddos about business.
You want to invest in something that you relate to. Like, I think that's like the funnest place to start. And like for our kids, for example, like, I mean, it wouldn't be that exciting if we're like, yeah, we invested your tax-free account into this piece of real estate over here. They'd be like, what's real estate? Like, they wouldn't understand. But if we said, oh, we actually have this cards and coffee company that we've invested your savings into, like, it's so cool. Like, look, you can look it up. Here's the website. Here's Instagram. They're doing card breaking live all the time. Like, that is something that our boys are excited about. Now, if we invested our daughter's Roth into that, she'd be like, okay, like she wouldn't be into it. So we're looking for something cool to invest Kenzie's Roth IRA into. But you know, this when you're investing, make sure that you select something that really does interest you, because it's going to be more fun that way, and you're going to have a lot more connection to it instead of, you know, just freaking Bitcoin or stocks or whatever.
You see what Bitcoin just did though?
Why don't you tell me?
Whoa. It blew up again.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is the best the best performing investment in humanity. Facts.
I mean, I know, but it's invisible.
Yeah, it just might not be your thing. So like, it's not
my
Rachel's thing.
Definitely. I mean, I invest in it, but I'm not like super thrilled about it.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's the Wild West, but it's one of the best, seconded by I think Meta. But and then last year everyone was like, Meta's tanking and doing so bad and this, and it's not. Another topic of conversation.
Yeah.
But
I think if you guys are interested, tell us in the comments though, but we would love to do like a whole tax-free episode specifically on how to invest your tax-free accounts into investments. And I think that would be something, if you guys are interested, let us know. But I think that could be something really, really cool.
We can talk more about this inside of our live training on Monday.
Yeah, we could. We certainly could.
We go live every Monday inside of our 7-Figure Salon Community Facebook group. The link will be in the description show notes below. Every Monday, me and Rach live. We're talking about different things, various topics, and Q&A. Hop in. Really cool, really fun.
Doesn't matter Monday. Where we're at. Like, we were just out of town this last weekend, and we still made it happen on Monday. So we're going to leave several resources for you below. The first one being our 7-Figure Salon Society Facebook group. It's a free group for you to be able to get plugged in, watch some live trainings with us, ask questions, talk to other salon owners just like you. But we're going to be putting all of the tax-free strategy resources inside that group. So make sure that you click the link below to get into the Facebook group, and all the goodies are going to be there for you. And then also we will include a free budget sheet as well, just so that you can, if you are having a kind of a hard time making profit in your salon, it's always going to come back to your spending. Okay. So, and I know that there's lots of great reasons to spend for this or that in the salon world, but this budget sheet's going to help at least like rein it in a little bit, so that way we can start to increase that profit on the other side, so you can start taking advantage of those tax strategies. So anyways, we hope this was super helpful for you guys. We wanted to keep it pretty simple, but definitely please leave us a review. It helps us be able to make more content for you guys. It helps us to be able to rank higher here on the podcast, on YouTube. So continue to leave us reviews and ratings, just so that we know that like you guys are loving and absorbing this information, so we can continue to make more of it for you.
And if you have a moment, hop over to YouTube, check out 7-Figure Salon. And then if you like to watch this stuff, you can go there and watch this episode. And we're really putting as much content out there as we can. So we just rolled out a YouTube channel. Like and subscribe for us so we can keep making this content for you all.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Hope you have a great day and a great rest of your week. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.